Good morning. Happy New Year's Day. Thought I would start our new project that Leo and I have been thinking about doing, Then and Now Rereads, with the book that I reread religiously, ritualistically, I guess maybe is a better way to say it, every New Year's Day. And that is this, 84 Charing Cross Road by Helene Hanff. I've mentioned before that this is my talisman. This, for almost a decade now, has become the book that ensures that I have a year ahead of fantastic reading. And so it's tiny. It's like 92 pages, and it's always charming. It's always emotional. It's always a delight. And it's something that I look forward to. So I thought I would kick off my contribution to this series that I'm going to be doing with this. So to start off, why am I reading this? I'm rereading this because I get so much joy and pleasure from it. I am reminded of the things that are important in life: friendship, kindness, travel, connection, and books. And it also places me very distinctly in a different place and time. And it always reminds me how far we've come in terms of convenience. And it's good to be reminded of that in the days when we can get anything we want at our fingertips. The anticipation of not being able to get something and waiting for something feels foreign, but also something that's important. So I'm going to read this again today. I'm reading the French edition. And so as you can see, kind of coming in here a little closely, this is going to be, I think it's my third year reading the French edition. The first year I really struggled. Second year was a little bit easier. I'm most looking forward to seeing how much my French has changed, how much more I understand, and not just because I know the story, but because I understand grammar better, understand conjugation better. I have a deeper vocabulary. So that's what I'm looking for in this reread. And I have my brand new journal for this year. This is my language journal. So I'm going to be capturing my French vocabulary ideas in here. So I will come back to you at the end after I've read it and check back in and let you know how it all went. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned.
And I'm back. So that was the then portion. This is the now portion. I realized after I finished the book that I may not have teed it up properly. So for those who have watched my channel, I'm sure you're incredibly familiar with 84 Charing Cross Road, but there may be people coming to it who don't follow me. So I probably should talk a little bit about it. This is a very slim, as I mentioned, very slim. I think it's like 92-page epistolary story of a friendship that grew out of a correspondence, a letter correspondence, starting in the late 40s between a woman in New York City who's looking for books and a gentleman who works at a specific bookstore in London. And it's this, she has all of these books that she's looking for that she can't find in the United States because she's an Anglophile, and she's working her way through this list of books that have been recommended based on lectures from this Cambridge professor that she saw many years ago. And so she's looking, and she wants to find them, but she doesn't have a lot of money. And so she kind of sends a list and sends an initial deposit on good faith through the mail to this unknown bookseller and bookstore in London. And that then starts a correspondence between her, Helene Hanff, and it's a true story. These are based on their actual letters, and Frank Dorer. And Frank is one of the main booksellers at this small bookstore. And this bookstore actually existed, and it's very close to Foyle. It's on the same block as Foyle's is today in London. It's kind of diagonal and across the street diagonal. So if you're coming and the bus stop is across the street, you're going to get off right in front of where the plaque is up on the wall, and it's very, very high up. You have to really look for it. But that's an aside. So the reason I love this book is because there is such warmth, such joy of books, the kind of relationships that happen because of reading, because of books, and a generosity of spirit. And all of those things are incredibly important to me and touchstones. And so I like to start this as my first book as a reminder of things to hold dear, and to ensure, now it's a talisman, to make sure that my year of reading is strong. This is, when you start with the first book as a meh, you're kind of like, oh God, what have I done? Or maybe you don't think that. I have definitely thought that. So to solve that, I just always start with this. And now many people join me across the world in reading this as the first book every single year. And we use the hashtag 84CCRNYD, 84 Charing Cross Road, New Year's Day. So, okay, so with all of that said, what did I discover this time? Well, I have to say that there's very little surprises left for me in this book because I've been doing this for a decade. Now, because I've picked up French right as COVID was hitting, I picked it back up because I studied it in high school and a little bit in college. I started reading this edition. This is the French edition. I say 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, I would think. And y'all, reading in French is hard. Reading in a foreign language is hard. I marvel at people who read in English when English is not their native language. And so, the few things I'm going to say are not meant to be discouraging. They're just more the reality of the situation. And that is that I, really thought that I would fly through this, but it took a long time. And that means that I'm not where I think I want to be at this stage of my French journey. And that's perfectly fine. It is a journey. I definitely could read more, but an interesting thing happened is the first year that I read this, I know this so intimately that I could almost do the translations myself. I was almost reading with the voice of the English novel in my head and kind of looking at the words. So that means I wasn't truly reading it in French. Last year, I took a much more concerted effort and I really slowed it down and really tried to read it and read every single thing. But it was, again, I knew the story so well. This year, I was reading it and I recognized a lot that I've learned. I recognized a lot of vocabulary. I recognized a lot of sayings. I recognized 10 different tenses that I've been studying. And so, yes, while I'm identifying and recognizing it, it still doesn't make for as easy a reading experience as I had hoped. But that's why you keep going. And that's what you keep doing it for. So I will continue to be reading this. I did get the Italian, and so I'll pick up Italian next year. And I think I might pick this up mid-year and just, use this as a practice opportunity. But one thing that is the case here is sometimes it's part of the charm of this story is that the is that Helene is very New York, right? So she's very informal. She cracks wise. She's, she'll write in all caps, which is something that I guess I saw before, but it feels more intense when you read it in French. As ridiculous as that sounds. But, so she's kind of like all out there in New York, right? Frank Dorr is staid Englishman, actually he's Irish, but, he has that very proper approach and proper way of communicating, which feels a little formal. So some of the words and some of the vocabulary that I started looking up this time were actually very formal. So like the colis is packages or parcels. Like, I don't know if we would say parcel. We would say, did you get our package? Did you get our gift? But parcel just feels very old-fashioned. I don't know. It might be used more in English from England. One of the things I did realize this year in reading this is the letters. There's a lot of letter writing in the early years, a lot of communication, very quick. And it really tapers off on both sides of the relationship as the book progresses. And, there are spans that are like 9 months, sometimes into the next year, where one person asks the other, are you okay? Are you still there? Helene kind of, at one point, she has this really funny passage where she says, look, it's coming up to winter. It's going to be a cold, long winter. I'm going to be babysitting at night. I need books. So basically, she says, get a move on. Go find me some books, which is, her teasing way. She has a very teasing banter. And Frank, from what he responded to, as well as what his wife said, he loved it. He found it very, very funny. So that was something that I just didn't realize. But again, there is, I don't want to spoil anything. In future, I will have spoilers in the Then and Now series, a reread series. But in this case, I just love this. And there is something that is so poignant that happens. And I just never want to, for new people picking this up, I don't want to say it and have it ruin their experience, because it was profound. I remember the first time I read it and I gasped, dropped the book and started crying. And I still tear up. It still is when I know it's coming, but it's the manner with which it's transmitted that gives you that sense of the actual distance between these people. Despite all of the years of communication and everything that they had shared and what they had forged together. So this is still a profoundly important read to me. I'm delighted that I did it. I'm so excited when I see other people read along with us. And if you know anybody who struggles with the first book of the year, if you know anybody who's a true book lover, like deep in their soul, please suggest that they join us next year and remind them that it comes up every year, New Year's Day. So that is it for me and my very first Then and Now video. I hope you like this format. And as I've mentioned in my kind of wrap up of 2023, if this is a video that you also would like to make and you like to reread books, please feel free to take it. It's really about starting one part of the video, which is a conversation about what you're anticipating and what you think you remember, what you're looking to find through rereading it. And then coming back after reading it and doing a wrap up of that experience and what you've learned and does it hold up? This holds up for sure. So that's it for me for now. I'll look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you. Happy New Year. Bye.